All right, kicking things off, it is Kevin Owens and Randy Orton against the MFT and Solo Sikoa with Paul Heyman. And this crowd, I mean, they were even louder than SmackDown. And this was like a mini concert, I would say, at points of this show where they were singing, including an entire arena of people readily admitting that they know the lyrics to Voices by Rev Theory as Randy Orton came out. Never in my life did I imagine I would hear this song sang by an entire arena of people as Randy Orton came out.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the chorus, but like I can't tell you what the
outside of I hear voices in my head. Do you know any of the lyrics of this song? Because this whole crowd did.
No, I have no idea. No. Well, but just awesome. You know, the announcers.
This was like no joke. This was one of the greatest crowds in WWE history.
Sure. Yeah. They for
sustainability over the course of 3 hours. Like this was as impressive as it gets.
The announcers just completely fall back to let the crowd speak for itself. They were very much part of the draw of this show itself.
There was a massive "We Want Roman" chant, and the crowd just roars as the four start to brawl, and they go to the floor. We get officials out. There was a cameo here where one of the security guards was former NXT talent Sylvester Lafort, who got dropped on the desk by Randy Orton, and this causes Nick Aldis to come out and make this a street fight, and as though they were just going to wave this one off and call it DQ. So we get the impromptu street fight and impromptu weapons that were all positioned underneath the ring. So maybe they had the same insight that Sky Blue did the other night to know that maybe just in case, let's plant some weapons in case.
They must have known a street fight was coming. Yeah.
So they fought their way into the crowd. We had trash cans brought out. The crowd just wants tables. They're chanting ECW. Kendo stick is brought out. And Owens brings out the tables. Giant pop for that. And he splashes Tama Tonga through the table. There was a great spot where they were coming back from the ring or from the crowd, and Owens leaps off the barricade for a splash, and Randy climbs on top of the barricade, and you're thinking Randy is going to jump off this barricade, and even Randy realized in the moment, not a prayer. I don't care how hot this crowd is, and he just hopped down. I mean, this guy was probably staring at another year off if he like tore his ACL jumping off this barricade. So
he might do it eventually.
He's not going to do it. I mean, if ever there was the time for Randy to do some spot off a barricade, this was it. So Sikoa puts Orton through a table with a Samoan drop, and Cole and Graves are mentioning the history of Tama Tonga, the titles that he held in New Japan, and I thought this was going to be the most noteworthy reference. Michael Cole mentioning the classic matches that Tama Tonga had with Evil.
Yeah, and this is where the Shinto...
okay. I missed this.
Great series of matches were also brought up.
Okay, well, Shinto and Evil in action earlier today. So they're beating up Kevin Owens with the trash can lid. It's a 2-on-1 until Owens reverses an Irish whip, putting Sikoa through a table in the corner. And Orton returns, does his big comeback on Tama Tonga, signals for the RKO and hits it, but gets saved by Solo Sikoa. So Sikoa and Orton end up on the desk, and Orton stops the Samoan spike, RKOing Sikoa on top of this desk. And Owens is delivering chair shot after chair shot to Tama Tonga, places 4 chairs upright, and they fight on the turnbuckle, ending with a fisherman buster delivered to Tama Tonga onto these 4 chairs. And Owens goes for the cover, 1, 2, and referee Dan Engler is yanked out of the ring by the debuting Tanga Loa. Yes, it is Camacho. He is now Samoan from his last ancestry during his last time around. The bicycle is gone, and here he is back home, and he nails Orton and Owens with the steps. We see a spinning solo to Kevin Owens on the chair, and the Samoan spike keeps Kevin Owens down in 19 minutes and 38 seconds. Paul Heyman is in shock, so we're led to believe this is another rogue move by Solo Sikoa. And Tanga Loa, the latest member of the new Bloodline, after his rural revitalization match with Great O'Khan the last time we saw him in action.
After the Gyoza match. That was supposed to be the eel match. He had enough gyoza and just made his way all the way to the WWE afterwards.
Why like put your career on the line when you could put like gyoza as the stipulation for
What a way to go out.
KOPW match? So
Truly,
yes.
what a way to go out. Yeah, I mean, this probably was the best possible spot for any match to be in on this card. First match on the show with the crowd this hot, with that much pent-up energy to release. There was no way this match could have failed. And I thought it was a really interesting way that they presented the hardcore sort of street fight stipulation here. I mean, the street fight itself isn't much of a stipulation to hook the audience beforehand. So I thought it was very well played here to present it as almost a bonus to this already very interactive crowd. There were a lot of really good, satisfying spots here. I didn't even think they needed to go crazy with the stunts for a crowd that was already this hot. And there really wasn't all that was too dangerous until that Fisherman Buster through the chairs, which was just absolutely insane that Tanga Loa took. I was curious to see...
Tama Tonga's back just looked like wrecked from the various strikes he took to the back. Like it was just all cut up and welted.
I'm sorry, I meant Tama Tonga instead of Tanga Loa taking that Fisherman Buster spot. I was really curious to see how they would book Tama Tonga in this match, because if the goal is to make him come across as this sort of like sadistic, uncontrollable member of the group that would like commit vehicular homicide just to, make a statement. I don't know if that really came across. I would say by the end of this match, Tama Tonga came across to me more like a Giovanni Vinci type of like more lower ranking guy of the group. Tough, but like not a significant contender, at least like not protected in the way that I think Solo Sikoa was when he was initially brought up into the Bloodline. But I think the idea now is to have him attached to Tanga Loa, and as a tag team, the two of them combined feel like a bigger threat. And as sort of like this sort of attachment now to Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa with the Guerillas of Destiny attached to him, I think that's really cool. They're a known entity. It boosts Tama's profile. I was initially asking, man, we're talking about a roster that is already this bloated. What room is there for a Tanga Loa, at 40 years old? But I think there's cachet in a Guerillas of Destiny tag team run, especially as sort of like the muscle behind a Solo Sikoa. So I totally understand the signing, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they do it all.
Look at that little tease by Big E on the Countdown Show.
What's that?
That's what you get if you tune into the Countdown Show.
Yeah,
and I mean, this would certainly lead you to believe of like this kind of 4-man unit that everyone expects, Jacob Fatu to be attached to this. And I mean, of all the guys, I mean, he probably represents the greatest upside in terms of being that,
Jacob?
Solo Sikoa as sort of the leader of this new Bloodline group, and Jacob Fatu is like the monster of the 4.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see maybe at this point, maybe having Jacob Fatu attached to Roman Reigns, even, just so that you split the members a little bit more, just to give equal shine, because people
it's a Samoan draft.
Absolutely, they can have their own because Roman wasn't a part of it. But yeah, I mean, I get the signing. It's a good addition to your tag team roster. We'll see if they can gain any sort of significant traction.